So just in wrapping up, are there any final thoughts or words of wisdom that you'd be suggesting to a hotelier that's looking at casting now?
All your competitors are offering it, so you need to start looking at it, because it is the way, as I mentioned at the beginning of the interview, it is the way that hotel entertainment is going. Everyone is already watching their own content in their property. All you're doing as a hotelier by implementing a casting solution is giving the ability to brand, and also as well making sure they're able to watch it in that big, lovely, shiny screen rather than huddled over their device in the corner of the room. So yeah, that would be the main thing. Everyone else is doing it. So yeah, you guys need to start looking at it before you start falling too far behind, would be my advice to any hoteliers.
And make sure you choose, obviously, a good provider, do your homework, make sure it's secure, it's very simple to use.
Yeah, but always think about the guest. Is a lot of hotels look at cost and don't think about the guest experience and the guest journey. They just try and shoehorn. And again, Sam mentioned that there are a few rogue providers out there that maybe don't have the security or the functionality of a full Google approved solution. But it's also as well, they can kind of pull the wool over some hoteliers' eyes. So yeah, do your homework. Think about the guest experience. How would you be as a guest going into the hotel? Would you be happy to go through and join onto different networks and things like that? So yeah, really think about the guest journey and the guest experience.
Yeah, I think that's great advice, Tim. On any piece of technology you put in, actually step into the guest shoes and experience it from their point of view. Sam, any thoughts from your point of view?
Look, I think I've just got open a couple of sites. I wouldn't mind actually showing you some analytics that gets pulled from our devices on what people are actually casting and how they're using the solution. Do you mind if I quickly share my screen?
You should have the ability now, Sam, to share screen.
Excellent. Okay, so can you guys see my screen?
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is a particular site. It's Richards in Adelaide. This gives you basically an overview of how people are utilizing the solution from a casting perspective. As you can see from the top, Netflix is the biggest player, and this has taken over the last week. We can also break this down to the last month as well. So just refreshes. So again, looking at the last month, you'll see that Netflix is the biggest player. Then we've got Disney Stan, and that's at this particular site.
Just on there, Sam, if you just hover over the over the Netflix, just on the pie chart on there as well. So as you can see, in the last month, it's as if someone has continuously sat down and watched Netflix for 17 days. So that's as if one room is continuously streamed. So that just shows the power of how much this is being used. Again, yeah, so if you think that you binge watch it, feel sorry for the poor guy that's just sat in a room for 17 days watching Netflix constantly. But again, yeah, it just shows the real power there and the usage that it's also as well getting.
Mm. And given that we're only the 18th of the month, that's pretty powerful.
Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah,
that's right. So it's a great way to encapsulate obviously what's going on within your hotel. You can also see things like room devices, signal strength and whatnot throughout the facility as well, which is quite important from a casting perspective. You want to make sure that the signal strength is to a certain degree. We highly recommend negative, or if you know technical terms, negative 65 dBm, which is all based around that signal strength within the room environment. I'll just show you another site just to give you a bit of a difference. This is the Gibraltar Hotel. Again, this is the last month. You'll see here that YouTube is the favorite in this particular facility. You've got a breakdown of all the different streaming applications that are being used and a percentage and the number of minutes. So again, a great way to see what's going on in your hotel. A good tool to use from a marketing perspective as well. And to just showcase the solution.
It's interesting to see, though, we are seeing obviously YouTube, products like Foxtel Go, KO Sports, even Spotify, Disney Plus, Binge, all of them are there in one form or another. But YouTube and Netflix seem to really stand out.
They always seem to be the two powerhouses across any country, really, being brutally honest with you, Brendan. But again, what it does show there is, again, like I mentioned earlier on, is that you've got a lot of different localized streaming apps as well there. So again, for international travelers, it gives them the ability to be able to continue watching the content that they're already watching in their own country. So as you can see there, it does get crazy. I mean, we had one during lockdown, a property over in Abu Dhabi. During 1 month in the property, they streamed over 1 million minutes of content in 1 month. So yeah, that was a lot of people watching a lot of content in I think it was March, April last year. So it just shows once you implement it, it will get used. It's kind of like the old Kevin Costner from Field of Dreams: build it and they will come. If you implement the solution, they will soon start watching it, believe me.
I think you said before, Tim, and I've witnessed, I've seen it myself. I've been traveling, I've been at a hotel without casting. I've just sat on my laptop and actually watched the Netflix series that I'm currently watching. It's just my ritual to wind down. And then I stay at a property with casting, and it's chalk and cheese. Watching it on my 13-inch laptop compared to a 55-inch TV where I can sit back on the couch, it just made it a much more pleasurable experience.
Exactly. And again, like you mentioned, Brendan, it's if you were given the option of going back to either of those properties now, which one would you choose? You're going to go back to the one with the casting option.
Exactly right.
Yeah, and it's really strange. Well, not strange. It's one of those ones. It's obviously a trend that people are following now, but it's when people used to charge for Wi-Fi, then that kind of started to die out, and then Wi-Fi became kind of equally as important as hot water in a hotel, and became kind of the be-all and end-all that you had to have free Wi-Fi, otherwise you would lose guests. Casting started to go very, very similar. People are now starting to choose properties based on whether they have casting solutions. So yeah, as I mentioned before, it's a lot of hotels are doing it now. So before you're kind of too late and you're losing too much revenue. And again, it gives you the ability to charge that little bit more for a room as well, if you are able to offer little differences like that. So, and again, the cost of casting, it works out pretty much as the same as you would charge for your toiletries in a hotel. So the same the hotel would pay for their toiletries per month works out pretty much the same as casting. So it works out very, very cheap for the hotel to be able to implement and maintain.
Even less, I'd say, as well. I mean, it's a great solution to have. It basically goes hand in hand with what guests expect and what guests want out of a room. They just want to get home and get back to their series, or they want to catch up on their KO sports, or you know what I mean? It's just bringing that home away from home experiences, which is essentially what you're trying to achieve in the guest rooms.
Yeah, exactly right.